All right. Namaste, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, to Hindi University. This is me, Ashutosh. As you know, we meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. and we talk about, Hindi language and also cover various topics. Today is the daylight savings change, so the time may be different for some of you guys. So please make sure you check your local time with respect to the 9 a.m., Washington D.C. time. Okay, so as you know that lately we've been covering how to use compound postposition in Hindi. In this class, we'll continue with the same topic using compound postposition. So we'll pick up like two specific compound postposition in this class, and we'll practice sentences around that. Just give me 1 minute. So as you know, the class is structured in 4 different segments. Okay. In the first segment, we'll talk about grammar. Okay. In the second segment, we'll talk about vocabulary. Hindi vocabulary. Okay. In the third segment is the Hindi immersion part, where I'll write a short Hindi write-up, either a story or something. And it's completely in Hindi, so you are encouraged to kind of read it and make sense of it. And the fourth section is your part, where you will take whatever we have studied in this class and try to apply or make some sentences using those concepts, right? So that's equally important. All of them have some interdependency, so that's why I want you to stick around the entire class so you can really build from grammar to vocabulary to Hindi immersion and to really participate in the fourth part. Okay, so let's get started. As always, I encourage participation. So feel free to definitely post comments on Facebook as well as on Google Hangout. For those of you who are not really part of the the live session on Google Hangout, you can still participate. I try to answer as many questions as possible, even during the class. So, definitely do that. So we'll start with the first segment of the class, which is basically the compound postposition. Compound postposition. And I picked up two, compound postposition in this class, which is inside and outside. Okay, inside and outside. Inside, it's under, and outside is bahar. Bahar. Okay, so the way you write it in Devanagari, a, half na, the, and ra, and bahar, ba with a, ha, and then ra, bahar. Okay, so those are the two. The reason we call it compound postposition, most of the time when you're using both of them in sentences, you might see a postposition before those called K. Okay, K under and K bahar, right? And whenever there's a postposition before these two, collectively it will be called a compound postposition. Okay, so throughout the class, we'll try to use these compound postposition in different contexts, and we'll build on top of it, right? So let's start with K under, and then we'll go to K bahar. Okay, so let's start K under. So the first example that I have, when you say gar ke under, right? Gar is house, right? So when you say gar ke andar, it's inside the house, right? When you say mere gar ke andar, right? So this one is inside the house. In this one, you're using a pronoun, right? Mera gar was one thing if you just say my house, but because you have a compound postposition where mera changes to mere, if you remember, right? It's an oblique case of mera. So when you say mere ghar ke andar, that means inside my house. Okay. Okay. So when you say aapke, when you say inside your house, right? You will say aapke ghar ke andar, inside your house, right? When you say inside their house, right? So they is way, right? Way. When you add way and then ghar ke andar, anyone can guess way, the oblique case of way, right? Then it will become unke. Okay, so that changes to unke ghar ke andar, right? Unke ghar ke andar. So let's keep going and let's discuss more examples. Right? And as I'm, writing it, don't limit yourself. Think about other cases where you can write it down, such as like, school ke andar, inside the school, right? Inside the school, hotel ke andar, inside the hotel, right? And then similarly, so interestingly, when you say hotel ke andar, I have a short story to tell you, right? I mean, a lot of you might have like watched this movie, where the name of the movie is Dunstan Checks In, right? So there's a Hindi version of this movie. I'm not sure how many of you know, right? If I were to ask you, guess the name of the movie, right? So the way the Hindi name goes, Ek Bandar, and Bandar, as you know, is monkey, right? So that's one mistake they made, right? It's not a monkey actually, right? But here's the next part. It says inside the hotel, right? And the second part is when you say inside the hotel, it means hotel ke andar. Ek bandar hotel ke andar. So that's actually the Hindi name of that movie. Dunstan Checks In, and you can look it up and you'll be able to find it. Ek bandar hotel ke andar. So so we'll keep going. And then the next thing I want to say is like inside the ocean, right? So you can, ocean is samundar, samandar, samandar ke andar, inside the ocean, right? You can really use it, inside or outside in pretty much a lot of essays when you're talking about it. Like there's a lot of minerals, inside the earth, right? I mean, so you think about all those sentences where you can use it, right? Because that's where I really want you to get better, right? Because think about your scenarios, where you are using Hindi on a day-to-day basis, and think about, where you can start utilizing it, right? So I hope at least this part is clear. And now we'll talk about the other, uh, you know, compound composition ke bahar. So just give me 1 minute. I think there's a small noise, so I'm gonna. So before I jump to ke bahar, let me see if there are any other questions or comments on the, on the Facebook side. So please feel free to write down all your questions and comments, so I can answer those as well. So let's go over ke bahar. Right. So the next one is ke bahar or outside. So same example that we tried, we can try, here also, घर के बाहर, घर के बाहर, outside the house, or you can say मेरे घर के बाहर, मेरे घर के बाहर, if you want to make it a little bit more interesting, outside my house, right? Or if you want to say there's a very beautiful garden outside your house, why don't we try that, like just for the sake of it? There is a beautiful garden outside your house. So why don't you use it as an exercise and try to translate that into Hindi. Let's try that. Right. So again, just for folks who are live on Facebook, the quiz here is like you have to translate the sentence. There's a beautiful garden outside your house into Hindi. Okay. Write it down, and then I'm gonna, if there's any issue, I'm gonna correct it. Okay. Very good. Right. I'm gonna wait for some more time to see if people have any other thoughts. Okay. So let's break it down. So let's look at this one. Outside your house, right? Uh, this should be clear for everyone. Outside your house is आपके घर के बाहर, because that's what we just studied, right? आपके घर के बाहर, right? Beautiful garden. Okay. Beautiful is सुंदर. Garden is बागीचा. Baghicha. Okay. And then a beautiful garden, right? So is ek, one, right? Now, if you combine both of them, you write it as like आपके घर के बाहर एक सुंदर बागीचा, and then you will end it with the है, right? There is basically है, right? So there is a beautiful garden outside your house. It's आपके घर के बाहर एक सुंदर बागीचा है, right? You can make many variations, right? I mean, if you want to change it into interrogative, right? As opposed to saying it, if you want to say, do you have a garden outside your house, right? Simply it would be क्या आपके घर के बाहर एक बागीचा है, right? And the person can say हाँ मेरे घर के बाहर एक बागीचा है, or he or she can say नहीं मेरे घर के बाहर बागीचा नहीं है, right? So I mean, I'm just trying to give you a flavor of it, so that's basically के बाहर for girl. Let's try other things. So same thing, right? I mean, hotel के बाहर that we covered. You can try here also. Hotel के बाहर. Or you can also say school के बाहर. Right? School के बाहर. Or office के बाहर. Office के बाहर. Outside the office, right? So these are just some more examples of where you can use it, right? Now, now I want to give you some exercise in this particular section. So this is where you can really try to see so that there is a segue here for the vocabulary part, right? I mean, so inside the forest. So I'm going to give you 3 small snippets to translate, right? Try to convert this into Hindi. Inside the forest, inside the earth, and third one is inside the kingdom. Okay, so take your time and think about the Hindi words for forest, earth, and kingdom. Some of you may already know about these. If you don't know it, you have formulas on how to ask in Hindi. Can some of you try typing something on Facebook live, because I can see people are joining, but I don't know if you can type something. I can just make sure I'm able to review those. Okay, I can see it now. Just want to make sure that I have. Okay, so as I asked, try to write these sentences. Okay, very good, Forrest. Okay, right, so I have some answers. So forest, as you rightly pointed out, forest you can say one. It's not van, it's one. Ver, or basically rather like the way you say number one, right? So forest is called one, or you can also say jungle, right? So when you say inside the forest, you can say 1K under, or you can say jungle K under. Okay. The next one is earth. In the past we covered it. Earth is Prithvi. One word. Okay. Prithvi. Okay. Prithvi. You can say Prithvi ke andar. A lot of time, the synonym of Prithvi is also just one word called Bhu. Bhu. Okay. And so you can say Bhu ke andar as well, right? Interestingly, when the actual name of geography is Bhu, and then Gol, as you know, is sphere, right? Gola is a sphere, Gola. But when you say Gol, or read it like this, right? When you say both of them together, Bhu and then Gol. Bhu is like earth, and Gol is like a sphere. So the word itself means earth is a sphere, right? So that's also another way to say earth or Prithvi. Okay, and this one is inside the kingdom. Kingdom, even though state is called Rajya, the Hindi word for kingdom is also Rajya, right? So it's also known as Rajya. A lot of time when you're writing any small short stories, or when you're reading like fairy tales, you will see inside the house, or like king ordered to send this person outside the kingdom, right? I mean, so in those cases you will read this particular scenarios. So it's Rajya ke andar, right? If it is like a fort, then you will hear about Mahal, right? Mahal, right? So any kind of even like you talk about Taj Mahal, right? So it's a tomb or a fort, right? I mean, so tomb is Makbara, but mostly whenever you're talking about any kind of fort, you'll hear about Mahal, right? Jal Mahal is like Jal is water, and then Mahal, right? So good job, I think, for most of you who tried here. Let me just see if there's any question uh, on the Facebook side. Perfect, no question. So this is a segue for us to move to the second part of this class, which is the vocabulary part. Uh, so let's do some of it we already covered. So I'm gonna just rewrite it here again, just to make sure that you are able to make notes. Forest is one. Um, Read it as one. Okay, one, or jungle. Okay, earth, it's per, half r, half the, v and e, Prithvi. Read it as Prith dash v, Prithvi. Okay. Kingdom, as I mentioned, kingdom is Ra, half year and year. Rajya. Okay. Then comes the interesting one which we haven't done so far, right? Um, the next one is control. Control. Can anyone think about it? Like, it's we have not done something like this. Control. To control is basically, difficult one. Okay, so let me write down. Niyantran karna. Okay, niyantran karna. Or you can also say kabu. Kabu karna. Okay, niyantran karna, or you can say kabu karna. Okay, so it's a verb to control. It's good verb to remember, so you can use it in your essays and sentences. Uh, let's keep going. So at least we get to cover at least 9 to 10 vocabulary words here. The next one I have is to take advantage. To take advantage. Okay. It's basically, to take advantage is used, when you say profit in Hindi, the word is faida, right? So to take advantage is also like, it's basically the Hindi word is like, faida, फायदा उठाना. फायदा उठाना. Okay. The way you write it is fur with a, year, and the फायदा उठाना. Right? Right. So basically, if you want to say that, a businessman, let's say, takes advantage of some employee, let's say, right? I mean, you can say a businessman फायदा उठाता है, right? Or just taking advantage of, something. It's a difficult one, but I just thought it'll be interesting for you to, at least remember and learn a new word. The next one is to inspect. To inspect. To inspect is जांच करना. जांच करना. Right? So basically you will say जांच करना. You can say policeman शहर की जांच करते हैं, right? That they inspect the house, or firefighters inspected the building, right? So you can say either you can say सुरक्षा कर्मियों ने, which is basically the people who are protecting the the facility, or you can say firefighters ने building की और इमारत की जांच की. Okay, I'm saying it a little bit fast, right? But at least remember this part, जांच करना, because everything else is like the the way the verb conjugation works, right? So I don't think it should be too difficult if you were to go back and like make the sentences yourself. Okay. So the next two are interesting one. To say no. To say no. I'm gonna take a pause here, and the next one is height. Height basically when we talk about height of a person or a woman, right? So what are the Hindi vocabulary words for these two? So these are quiz for you. I'm gonna just take a round and see if people have any questions. But in the meantime, you think about these two. You can check your notes also. That's completely fine. Let's keep it open book, right? So you can cheat. So yeah, so I said like it's okay if you want to refer to your notes or your online resources, that's fine. It's only probably one of the class where we'll permit cheating. You can you can take information. Okay, you can go to shabdkosh.com. There are some websites, you know, where you can look at the words, because that way at least you will get, because a lot of time, like how you use, even when you know the word vocabulary word, how are you using it? Are you using it in the right context or not? That will develop that habit. So there are some online websites where you can find out. You know, Shabdkosh is one of them. You can go and search for inspect, and you will find out the Hindi word for it, and I'll help you which one is right. Okay. To say no, again in the verb, in the case of verb, it's mana karna, mana mana karna, right? Mana karna. Height is lambai, lambai. Lambai, okay, height is lambai. But as you rightly pointed out, when you say, a tall girl, it's lambi, ladki. A tall boy is lamba, ladka, right? But height, in general, if you're reading it as a noun, it's lambai. Okay. Um, I hope this is clear, right? I mean, so to take advantage is फायदा उठाना, to inspect, जांच करना, you know, to say no to someone is mana karna, right? Height is lambai, but you can use it, when you say tall girl, it's lambi ladki, tall boy is lamba ladka, as some of you rightly pointed out there. So that basically covered the second section of the class, right? I mean, now we'll come to the third section of the class, which is the one of the interesting part, right? Because I'll write a short story, right? And in the short story, I will try to insert, k under and k bahar somewhere in the sentences. But in totality, you're really understanding or going over a story, and you have to make sense of what's going on in this story. Okay, so there are about 8 sentences. It may be smaller for you, but I'll try to read it twice so you can, really follow along. So it goes like this: शहर से 10 किलोमीटर दूर, शहर से 10 किलोमीटर दूर बड़ा एक बड़ा जंगल था. Let me read that again. शहर से 10 किलोमीटर दूर एक बड़ा जंगल था. Okay, I'm reading it, so Jen, like I know you are having difficulty reading it, so you can follow just the verbal part, and you can make sense of what's going on. Okay. Second sentence is जंगल जंगल के अंदर बहुत बहुत सारे शेर थे. ओके, जंगल के अंदर बहुत सारे शेर थे. ओके, जंगल के अंदर और कई सारे कई सारे जानवर थे. Space between, okay, जानवर थे. Follow with me, okay? This might be a bit complicated for some of you, but just follow along and try to see what you can understand and what it's not clear. So that way, जंगल के अंदर और कई सारे जानवर थे. वे शेर से बहुत डरते थे. वे शेर से बहुत डरते थे. Okay, read it one more time slowly. शहर से 10 किलोमीटर दूर एक बड़ा जंगल था. जंगल के अंदर बहुत सारे शेर थे. जंगल के अंदर और कई सारे जानवर थे. वे शेर से बहुत डरते थे. ओके, शेर जंगल का राजा था. शेर जंगल का राजा था. Okay, then it goes like this. जंगल के अंदर एक बहादुर इज ब्रेव. ओके, बहादुर बच्चा था. जंगल के अंदर एक बहादुर बच्चा. ओके, जंगल के अंदर एक बहादुर बच्चा रहता था. ओके, जंगल के अंदर एक बहादुर बच्चा is a boy, okay, and Bahadur is a brave. Follow along, okay. उसका नाम मोगली था. Okay, उसका नाम मोगली था. I'll try to read it like write smaller because only one sentence is remaining and I want to write everything in just one go. यह कहानी एक फेमस let's say मूवी की है. Okay, so basically we wrote like a short script of Jungle Book, right? So let's read it again. जंगल से 10 किलोमीटर दूर, little bit fast this time. And for folks who are watching it, I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Read it fast, even if it doesn't make sense. Try to read it fast with me, so at least like you can really follow other people who are speaking fast. Okay, so try to read it fast with me and we'll see how that works out. शहर से 10 किलोमीटर दूर एक बड़ा जंगल था. जंगल के अंदर बहुत सारे शेर थे. जंगल के अंदर और कई सारे जानवर थे. वे शेर से बहुत डरते थे. शेर जंगल का राजा था. जंगल के अंदर एक बहुत बहादुर बच्चा रहता था. उसका नाम मोगली था. यह कहानी एक फेमस मूवी की है. Okay, so I'm gonna unmute some of you and volunteer you to really tell me what's going on here, sentence by sentence. So we'll start with Liz first. Liz, you can unmute yourself and start from the beginning.
Sure. Janet has helped us understand this, and I do understand more words than I thought I would. Sheher se das dur ek bada jungle tha.
Mhm.
From the city,
Mhm.
10 kilometers far from the city,
Mhm.
there was a large jungle.
Okay, very good. Second one.
Jungle ke andar, so inside the jungle,
Mhm.
bahut sari sher the.
Mhm.
Sher is lion.
Mhm.
There were many lions inside the jungle.
Pretty good. Thank you. So we'll switch to Anya's. So let me just make sure you are unmuted. Okay, your turn, and then we'll go to Janet because she's
Ah, wait.
already translated it. So go for it, Anyas, from this sentence.
जंगल के अंदर और कई सारी जानवर थे जानवर मतलब क्या है? I don't know.
Jungle is okay. Jungle is forest.
No,
This-
no. The verb.
Janwar is animal. Janwar.
Animal.
Yeah,
So,
animal. Janwar is the unique word for animal.
inside the jungle,
Huh?
there was some animals.
There were many other animals. Absolutely. That's correct.
I can't hear you well. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Next one.
वे शहर से बहुत डरते थे. Let's see. From there was. Don't wait. They were. They were out of this of. They were far. No. How do you say darte?
So Darna is
they were
to be afraid is Darna, right?
to get
to be fearful or to.
They were afraid.
Very good. They were afraid of.
They were of the city.
No.
Of the lion.
Very good, right? This is not sheher. This is sher. Right? So they were afraid of and lion. Okay, next one, and then the last three Janet will do.
Sher jungle ka raja tha. The lion was the king of the jungle.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we'll switch to you, Janet. And you can unmute yourself and you can keep.
No, I can't. Okay, yeah, sorry, my screen is upside down. I cannot see everything very good.
I'll read it. I'll read it for you.
Jungle. No, I can read it now. Jungle ke andar ek bahadur vacha rahta tha. A boy inside a jungle lived a brave boy.
A brave
okay,
boy.
A brave boy lived inside the jungle.
Very good.
Sorry, yeah. Uska naam Mowgli tha. His name was Mowgli. यह कहानी एक famous movie की है. This story is from a famous movie.
That's pretty good, actually. Actually, it's a book, right? But in this context, because there's a movie recently came out, I thought about it like this. Okay. I think you all did a fantastic job of translating it, right? Any questions on this topic, K Andar and K Bahar? From anyone, right? This is your chance to ask any questions, or so both on Facebook as well as on the on the Google Hangout. No. Okay. So what I want you to do, I think for everyone who are watching this, I want you to think about a small script, a small story. Okay. It's okay if you make mistakes, but at least start thinking about writing a short story. If you feel comfortable in your own native language, that's fine. Write the story in your native language first, and then translate it. It's fine, right? For those of you who want to think in Hindi, who feel comfortable at least formulating the sentences, you can start just writing in Hindi. That's completely fine as well. And send me the short story, and then what I can do. We may not be able to cover all the stories in one class, but I can start taking your stories and correct it, and then use it in a particular topic, and then we can reuse that. Right, so that way at least we'll have a collection of stories in the fourth segment of the class, which is the third segment of the class, which is basically the immersion one. Right, so now what I'll do, I'll open it up, so at least all of you get to try some small sentences using ke andar and ke bahar. Okay, so I hope it gives you enough time. So Liz, will start with you. Again, the ask is very simple. Think about 2 small sentences using ke andar and 2 small sentences using ke bahar. Okay. Let me just unmute you. Liz, okay, your turn.
अच्छा एक लड़के घर के अंदर है.
Okay. एक लड़का घर के अंदर है. A boy is inside the house. Very good.
एक माँ kitchen के अंदर है.
Very good. A mother is inside the kitchen. एक माँ kitchen के अंदर है.
एक मोर घर के बाहर है.
Okay. A peacock is outside the house. एक मोर घर के बाहर है. Pretty good.
एक शेर घर के बाहर है.
Okay. A lion is outside the house. एक शेर घर के बाहर है. Thank you. Janet, you want to give it a try?
Okay, thank you. Okay. मेरे घर के बाहर एक गाड़ी है.
Okay.
रसोई घर के अंदर 2 कुर्सियां हैं. और स्कूल के बाहर सारे लोग हैं.
ओके, स्कूल के बाहर सारे लोग हैं और स्कूल के बाहर बच्चे खेल रहे हैं.
ओके,
थैंक यू. अन्यस,
हमारे घर के अंदर 5 कमरे हैं.
ओके, हमारे घर के अंदर 5 कमरे हैं.
आपके कमरे के अंदर एक मेज है.
आपके कमरे के अंदर एक मेज है. ओके ओके.
हमारे स्कूल के बाहर एक बड़ा शहर है.
ओके.
और हमारे घर के बाहर बागीचा है.
हमारे घर के बाहर बागीचा है. Thank you so much, all of you, for attending today's class. As always, we'll meet next Sunday. As I mentioned, I might be in, Colorado. So next Sunday we will not have a class. I'm coming back on Sunday, right around the time when we start the class. So next Sunday we'll take a break. I'm gonna still post some videos so you can in lieu of the class, you can at least watch the video. Interestingly, I'll be meeting one of our Hindi student in Colorado, so I'm really excited about that. So we'll meet the following Sunday. So with that in mind, thanks everyone for joining the Hindi class. I'll stop the broadcast and